Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers midweek podcast. It's not Wednesday, though, is it? Because that's where Rangers were busy getting back into a title race, and it's now firmly time to hunt. And I'm delighted to be joined by two of my very, very best friends. Christopher, how are we, mate? Are we well?
Yes, I'm all good. Looking forward to this one. A nice positive podcast is on the horizon. So, and the nights are fair drawn in as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this one. Kenny, how are you, mate? You're happier now that you're on top of Chris. You said you didn't like being underneath him, did you?
Nobody likes being a bottom, mate. Let's not kid ourselves on. Yeah, I'm happy to be on. Delighted with the way that things are going at Rangers, and I'm really surprised you didn't call me Kenneth, having just called Chris Christopher. Right, let's go on, mate. Looking forward to the chat.
Yeah, I didn't even realise I'd done that, Chris. I'm sorry, mate. Last night, Rangers did beat Kilmarnock 5-1, and it was a fantastic scoreline, Chris. But it wasn't without its challenges. There's no point sitting and pretending it was magnificent in the first half, because it wasn't. That led to some criticisms at halftime, which we'll get to later on in the show. But a dream start, penalty, red card, less than 4 minutes on the clock. Tav scores. But we were a bit lethargic, weren't we? There's no point trying to hide it. We struggled to get the tempo, and that's why when Mikey Moore got the ball, everybody was so excited, because when he got the ball, he was very frantic, he was very urgent, and it was good to watch. Everybody else, is it okay to say that it was a bit first gear, second gear? But the positives being we were 1-0 up when we go into half time in the lead.
Yeah, it was a wee bit laboured in the first half, and I think if it was 0-0 right up to the 40th, 45th minute, between the 40th and the 45th minute, make it that late goal just before half time, I think the atmosphere would have been different. But the fact that we got the early goal and Kilmarnock went to 10 men, I think that really kind of heightened expectations a wee bit, that we could have got 2-3 before half time. So yeah, you're not going to be too critical, because we know the facts that we won 5-1, but at the time I think we were really quite frustrated. I mean, the fan base, I think we're quite frustrated the fact that it was such a dream start. We got that early goal, they were down to 10 men after kind of 5 minutes, but you know, coming up against a stuffy opposition at Ibrox is not something that is something that we're very much used to. And then you put in a title race in the mix as well, it just tightens tensions a wee bit. So, like, I think we'll come to the comments about that Danny Rule came out with after we discussed the game. But yeah, like, we're all on edge. I think that's fair to say. All the fans are on edge. We don't. How do I say this without getting letters? We don't really trust this team yet. I don't think the team has earned the trust yet either. But the only way that they can earn the trust and become a wee bit more bulletproof is by continuing to win, which they are doing. But you also need to remember the context is key. Now, I know I said that we're going to talk about the Danny Rule comments after we talk about the match, but the context is absolutely key. We get beat off Porto, we drew with Hibs, and we're kind of struggling in that first half against Kilmarnock. So the fans are, quite nervous. But yeah, look, end of the day, 5-1, 3 points behind Hearts now, in a good place. Goal difference been eaten up. I understand why Danny Rule said it, but it shouldn't really be a talking point, because we move on to the next one.
Yeah, we will. We won't spend too long talking about Danny's comments, but they were with context. But Kenny, 1-0 up at half time. We should score more goals. We have a tempo issue, and the biggest source of the frustration seems to be individually around players like Tello Asgard. We've spoken about this before. I've spoken about him quite a bit. Bojan Majowski, dare I say it, Jerry Gassama, playing at a tempo which doesn't match Mikey Moore on the other side, who does bring that urgency. And that's, I think, frustrating, because they are good players and they're not showing it at what we want to see. And that's maybe a lot of the frustration. But in that, Bruce Anderson should have scored, I think, for Kilmarnock, that one that came across the face. But apart from that, they never done much. It's not maybe what people are making it out to be. Rangers, I think, 13 shots in the first half. McHoma did go through as well. It was a night for left backs, and we'll talk about one later. McHoma should score. We don't. There was other chances as well. We do lead 1-0. We've seen that type of first half before, haven't we? Where we have laboured, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I think the frustration has come from the fact that 3 minutes into the game, they're down to 10 men, 4 minutes gone, we're 1 up, playing against 10 men, and we don't capitalise on it. And I think that, for me, is one of these things that you look at. And last night, I thought there was just an edge about the place. I thought it was nervy. And I think, for me, I would give Kilmarnock a little bit of credit for the first half. They worked their backsides off, and they passed the ball about quite well, Stevie. However, the issue I have is that Gassama gets a penalty. Apart from that, he's pretty much anonymous in the first half, apart from giving the ball away. Tello Asgard is almost as good as an empty jersey at times. It's becoming a real frustration for me, because he's just too safe all the time. He'll pass it sideways, pass it back. He'll never take a gamble. He'll not take risks. That's what annoys me about a guy that's playing in that position for Rangers, particularly when you're at home and you're down to 10 men. Take the risk. Be brave. And he's not doing that. And that's the kind of frustration with him. And he's clearly a football player. He is a good player. I think that's plain to see. But he's not producing at the level we need, particularly in that key area where you're the one that's meant to be actually, breaking through lines, and he's not doing that. I thought that when you look at it, I thought we were quite comfortable. I think we've got something like 67% possession in the first half, but just struggled to do anything with it. As Chris has said, we've seen this movie many times before, where it's basically 2 banks of 4. We're struggling to get in behind them, and that's where the frustration at half time came from. I think I heard you in the review this morning. I actually think you're right. I don't think there's any need for the booing. I understand why some people were a bit peed off about it. However, I don't think there was any need for that. You're winning the game. You're actually quite comfortable. Bar the Bruce Anderson, is it Bruce Anderson, is that his name? Chance, which he probably should do better with. They haven't really produced anything at all. And that's where I suppose the frustration as a Rangers fan comes from, is that all you need to do is be a little bit more patient. Don't get jumpy. Don't get hesitant. Don't show your opposition that there's almost a lack of confidence up front. And I think that's what we were doing. Changing the second half, as we all know, but that's where I think the frustrations from the first half come from, Stevie, is that I think we are showing opponents that we're nervy in front of goal.
Second half, there's so much positivity in there, Chris. Miovski obviously scores a good goal, actually, works a wee 1-2, and then we come into the 4. Skov Olsen gets a good third. Tua Romans comes on and becomes instantly the best left back in the world. Jack has his moment, and then Ollie Antman does well on the left, helped by Tua Romans, I think. Gets his first goal, gets an assist. Mikey Moore gets his reward, man of the match, 5th goal. Loads of positives in there, lots of positives. I thought that Diamandi drove the second half. I thought that he was exceptional in the second half. Big performance, almost like his Parkhead performance where he drove the team on. Tua Romans, as I said, Skov Olsen came in. I like the look of the new striker in the Dairy as well. It all kind of came together, and we've been waiting for it. We've been waiting for that moment where everybody is just clicking and everything's intertwining between each other. So that was, I think, the first time we got it. Kilmarnock at 10 men, they tired, absolutely. But it's the first time that Rangers looked lively. It's the first time that we had runners. And it's the first time, I think, in a long time that players got beyond down bylines and stuff like that. Honestly, if you watch the match day vlog, I even smiled in the second half. At points, I practically got giddy. It was good to watch, and that's all I want to see from Rangers, Chris. And to be fair to them, they, I thought individually and stuff like that, it kind of came together, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, the second half performance was night and day from the first half performance. The individual moments were brilliant. The team moments, if you will, also good. New signings, getting a glimpse of Ryan Nadiri and two Romans, who is his debut's goal for a left back. It's quite difficult for defenders to make debuts and make such an impression. I don't think it could have went any better, other than him getting a goal. Not a criticism, by the way. I'm literally stating that is the only way he could have made his debut even better. Really encouraged by him. Really excited by him. But if we discuss just the players that were already in the building for a minute, I thought Ant-Man came on, and to me, he was playing as if he had a point to prove. Really happy to see that. It was almost desire and fight and passion to show us, like, this is what I can do. And that's why I had a conversation with you today, Stevie, about Ant-Man. I wouldn't play him. Bizarrely, I wouldn't play him from the start in any of the big matches coming on. I would keep him as a sub, to bring him on as that impact sub, to continue to prove a point. I think when teams are a wee bit more tired, Ant-Man coming on, using his running power, his directness, could benefit us and Ant-Man personally. I thought Diomande was absolutely brilliant yesterday. He was my man of the match. I know that's going to be quite controversial, because obviously Mikey Moore was superb as well, but I thought Diomande was honestly superb. There was you look at the fifth goal that we scored. Kilmarnock put a ball over us, and it's kind of getting into the corner, and Kilmarnock got a player chasing it down, and Diomande ran from the halfway line all the way down to the corner flag to shadow the ball out. And that's in the 94th minute, and then Butland makes a quick by kick, gets it up, and then next thing you know, Michael Moore's scoring the fifth goal. I mean, that desire and application in the 94th minute, when you're 4-1 up, the game's done. To do that, it was absolutely brilliant, and he was doing that all game. He's tracking back and he's running forward. On and off the ball was superb, and we need more of that from him. And I believe there is more to come for Diomande. I've always believed in him. I've never criticised him as much as others, because I've always seen that in him. Maybe, yeah, he does have a wee bit of the Kuzans about him, where he can't be bothered against the riffraff, but when it comes to the big games, he does turn up. But I think now it's all coming together with him. And Bojan Majowski worked really hard. His game's not outside the box. Everybody knows that. And I think he's been judged on that. I think he's been judged on the modern game when it's no his strength at all. But you put that ball at his feet and give him a chance to shoot, he's going to score more times out of 10 than not. And that finish was superb. And then you get Scott Wilson as well. Really important for him to come on and get his first goal for Rangers. And again, I felt as if the pressure was off Scott Wilson. It looks as if his first two starts, he's had the weight of the world on his shoulders a wee bit. So taking him out of the team and then letting him come on during a comfortable scoreline, let him come on and express himself a wee bit, and he didn't have that much pressure. And I think he did show more quality in that cameo than he did in his first two games. Slight criticism again, Stevie. I spoke to you about this today. This is really quite hypercritical, but you have to. I'm just mentioning it. You know, if that was Václav Černý at the end of the game, he's not setting up Ryan Nadiri for his first goal. Černý, as a killer, he's taking the shot on and scoring the goal. Scott Wilson tried to set up his teammate on his debut to get his goal. Yeah, he just needs to. Yeah, I understand what he's doing. I do understand. He's trying to be nice and he's trying to help his teammate out. But we're in a title race and we need to get every goal we can. You take that on. And I think he'll learn for that. To be honest, but again, hypercritical. Yeah, somebody's actually literally just mentioned that in the comment. Again, it is a bit hypercritical, but that's it's just an observation. He needs to take that shot on because it was easier for him to score than to set up Nadiri. But again, I understand why he done it. He's trying to help his teammate. And then Ryan Nadiri himself, okay, he didn't show his striking qualities in terms of getting on the end of chances and stuff like that. But my God, his running power and his desire and work ethic and application was brilliant. And I said on Twitter, Stevie, he put a through ball with a back heel. I've seen enough. He'll do for me. So yeah, listen, it's all good. It's all positive. And just to come all the way back round to Romans, he's now, he's got to start every single game because he is very, very exciting. His underlaps and overlaps, you know what I mean? Usually fullbacks will do one or the other. They go underlapping or they go overlapping, but he can do both. Seems to have a decent left foot on him as well. And what I like about him is he doesn't just put it in the box, hoping for the best. He's picking out players as well. He's looking to see where the player is. He's making the defence make the move forward first, and then he's picking the player out. So yeah, and somebody's just said, "Are we dropping Magoma right away?" You need to be ruthless in a title race. Yes, as soon as Romans is ready to play 90 minutes game after game, then Magoma will be a decent option from the bench. But yeah, you have to play your best 11, and Romans. For me, I know it's only 30 minutes. He showed that he will be our best left back, and he certainly should be playing.
Yeah, it was an exceptional cameo. I couldn't help but be impressed by two Romans. Kenny, so many positives last night throughout that game. The biggest one being the movement of the players. As Chris said, Romans at left back going beyond. Ant-Man then had space. Moore overloaded the left-hand side. And Kilmarnock were forced to come across, which meant Scott Olsen could move across and he was finding space, which he did for his goal. Ryan Nadiri just moved all night, constant running. Every time Suter got the ball, he made that run round. Suter didn't find them, but that'll come as he gets used to his teammate. Pressing, desire, tackling, work rate. Something else he does, and I don't know if anyone picked up on this, I said to Davey in the gantry, he plays on the last man. We don't have a striker that does that. So when the press is automatically better because he's further up there. And I just thought for that little half an hour spell, everything really did come together for us. And I'm praying that that's a sign of things to come. Because see if you could suddenly get a left winger that's helped by a fullback that's properly going forward. I'm not slagging Jaden Magoma. I just think Romans is more natural, his running ability to fall. We've then got real options there. Right hand side, you've got options from Scott Olsen. If you can get these bits all working together, Mikey Moore should be 10 for me. Just saying, certainly on his position. Could you play Ant-Man left? Could you play Gassama right with Scott Olsen? Could you float Gassama? I would personally bring Gassama out the team for a game or two and bring him on. Could we start other people? Listen, I think we've got options there. Oliver Ant-Man, we've spoke about him on this podcast plenty of times. He said there is a player, you don't get that many in Holland, but he hasn't any point shown it. Last night I was really chuffed for him. I remember you told us Mikey Moore was a generational talent and people told you were off your head. He's starting to really properly shine now. So I understand it's Kilmarnock. I understand it's 10 men. I understand everybody wants to be context, but you know what? That was positive. That second half for me was great, Kenny. Take it away, mate. Tell us what you thought about that. You've waited about an hour to tell us, so go for it.
I know that's because Chris covered every base and every baseball ground in North America, I think. But it's one of these things that try to keep your feet in the ground to a certain degree because we all know where we are now. We're right in this. it is down to 10 men. Come on, are down to 10 men, I beg your pardon. There is 25 minutes left, half an hour left, where we really start to kick on and motor, and it does coincide with them tiring. I understand that. But it also, if you're going to be positive about it, it also coincides with the changes and the new players coming on. Two Romans is clearly the best left back in the world. There's no question in that. He is right up. He is. He's the best player in the world. And Scott Olsen's come on, and I totally agree with Chris. Strangely, I think that's exactly what you've said there about Scott Olsen coming on when it was 2-0. Is exactly why I think the pressure was lifted from him. I don't think he felt that responsibility or that onus to be the game changer. I think he realised they're down to 10 men. We are in control of this game, and I can go and play my own game without overthinking it, which is, I think, perhaps what he's been doing the first couple of games, try to play safe, try to play easy, whereas I thought he was much more productive yesterday. I thought Nadiri looked really tidy, really tidy, intelligent as well, which I haven't seen anybody talk about, is that the intelligence of the boy. The runs were really clever. The way he was doubling up and teaming up on a press was really good, really clever. But for me, it's what I felt last night watching at the game was that we are sitting there in a situation where that crowd was tense last night. And I thought, but each and every time a goal went in, you could feel the tension really, easing. However, when you've got guys like Jack Butland making mistakes that he's got, there is a reason why there's a tension in this stadium. And I think what Danny Rule has to understand, and I think Steve Smith mentioned it today in his press conference. What they have to understand here is that we've had 15 years of absolute shithouse stuff. It is. It's been an absolute nightmare, decade and a half, and that's where the tension and the edge that's in the stadium is coming from. We have got ourselves into this situation in several occasions over the last 8, 9, 10 years, and very rarely have we managed to kick on. So I'm not going to criticise Danny Rule for saying what he said, but I do feel that when a team's allowed to go out and express themselves, which I think he was trying to do yesterday, and they don't in the first half, it takes two, it takes both, it works both ways in terms of the crowd, and that's where, for me, the second half was a joy actually. And I've deliberately not mentioned Mikey Moore yet because I want to just slabber over the boy's ability. He is an absolute generational talent. He is going to be an England international for many, many years. It might take him a couple of years yet. He's nowhere near the finished article. I don't think he's ready to walk into Spurs first team or anything like that yet in the Premier League. But I'll tell you what, give him a year or two and he's going to be, because he is a sensational player, a real genuine talent. And that was his best game for us last night by a long way, I felt. And capped it all off with a cracking wee finish at the end of it for himself. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if Chris had said that as well. Get him in that number 10 position. There's a question for you, lads. Do we trust this boy at 18 to now play week in, week out for us in this run in the number 10 position in front of Asgard or Bayrami, whoever else he wants to play in there? Because I personally I'd play him there from here on in. I'd actually take him out if need be, if he's looking really tired at times, but I would have him in first pick for me at the minute.
We will come to that, but we have to discuss a really disappointing moment from last night. Nasser Jiga turned up with what can only be described as his pajamas on. And Chris, this is the kind of fashion that we've come to expect Kenny turning up in the pod with. What's going on there? What's happening?
Aye, Ballstruth would be turning in his fucking grave. It's I've never seen anything like it, man. I've never seen anything like it. It's just.
Do you know those memes where it says you're playing football at 7:45, but you need to be in bed by 10:15? That's exactly what it was like when he turned up. And why was his short so small?
Well, to me, it wasn't really so much these shorts so small. Why were the long johns so baggy? Like they're usually quite tight on the leg. But look, it worked. He didn't have any brain fat. Somebody said that Jigger gave Jack Butland a poor ball for the Killie goal. Come on, man, that was all Butland. Let's know. We can't blame Jigger for everything. Believe me, I will try. But it worked. He had probably one of his best games for us. So listen, he can wear that all he wants if he has games like that.
Kenny, you would have been proud of them, I'm sure.
Damn right, mate. Why wouldn't you be? Listen, let the man express himself the way he wants to. If you can slap your balls out in front of 50,000 people like that and not give a shit, fair play to him. Honestly, I mean, what you might say to that? Look at the nick of him. It's absolutely brilliant. And as I say, gave us all a giggle. Every single one of us had a laugh as soon as we seen him. What's he wearing? And it is like a pair of old old cut, the spaghetti western long johns, man. Like, what are you doing? Why are you wearing them? And it did look, and I noticed, as you say, the shots were high, but he pulled his socks down and all that. It just looked utterly strange and disappointing. There's standards at Rangers Football Club, and if you're going to wear long johns, get them tucked in and tight, mate. Come on.
You're 100% wearing the same pair, aren't you?
Not right now, but I might.
Danny Rule had some comments about halftime booing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go over it too much. I think everybody is going to have their opinion on this. My own personal opinion is 1-0 up at halftime. We shouldn't be booing the team. Regardless, I understand why we did it. I understand completely why we did it. I understand the fan feeling. We're in a title race. And the other issue with this is that it's been 15 years or so since people last seen us in a title race at a stadium. There's generations in that ground right now that don't understand what it's like and don't understand what it's like to be going through a title race that's tight the way it is at this moment in time. People need to realise, and Chris, we talked about this today, and I said to you, Rangers could be top if they win their next two games. The reality of it is Rangers could be top if they win their next game. Hibs play Hearts, as you rightly pointed out. This is how tight this is. Everybody needs to unite, in my opinion, behind the team, get together. We are stronger together. And I understand the will and the desire to want more, but we're supporters. We're there to support. We asked Andrew Kavanagh to back the team in January. He did. We asked Danny Rule to get results. He has got them. We asked the players to step up. They have stepped up. I feel that it's our turn as supporters to get right behind the team as much as possible. And that's only my opinion. I understand the fans. I'm not criticising them. I understand why they've done it. I'm just saying we are better together. I've been at title races at Ibrox when Rangers have beat Dunfermline to win leagues, and it was a crowd that carried them. I've seen us beat Parma, Porto, PSV, Leipzig, all these kind of teams to get to big prizes. And Ibrox can be electric, Chris. It's not a criticism of the fans. I'm not preaching. I've been going to games for 30 odd years, like most of us has. Not you, Chris, because you're a younger pup than me and Kenny. But Danny was brave to say it. I think he's got a point. These things can be divisive. I understand it completely. I just think that there's tension and worry in the stadium as well, because there's that anxiety. Christ, we are in a title race. Well, what are we going to do if we mess it up? I can't take that hurt again, is a feeling that most fans have as well. But we need to get in a position as a fan base to get behind this club, because we are that close to really being top of this tree and going the next three games, Motherwell, Hearts, Celtic, or this 3-game run that's coming up. We could really put ourselves in a strong position. It needs every one of us.
Yeah, it's. I understand why you said it, and I also understand why people booed. So I can kind of see both sides of the argument. There's context to it all. Why Roll said it, and there's context as to why the fans booed. And if you can kind of just give a bit of context to why the fans booed, I've already previously said we were on the run of 2 games without a win. Portal beat us. We always had a very, very poor performance against Hibs, and that's the most important thing to remember here. The performance against Hibs was, quite frankly, not good enough, borderline on shocking. And then they followed it up with that first 45 minutes against Kilmarnock, which it wasn't much better. And we're at home against 10 men. And I think, I don't want to be too critical of Danny Rowe at all, but I don't think he took that into consideration. But I also get why he said what he said, because he needs the team needs the fans on board, and we all need to be together. I don't think it was necessary for him to say that, though. Again, that's going to sound as if I'm being critical of Danny Rowe. I'm just saying it as it is. I don't think it should have been a talking point. But I also look at the other side of it, and the context side of it, which is, if he's going to call it the fans, you do it in a 5-1 win. Fair enough, because he wouldn't get away with it if he dropped points or get beat. So I understand kind of both sides. The only thing I'll say that is going to be critical of Danny Rowe, and this is going to be quite controversial, but I think I have to say it, because he said this after we dropped points to Hibs as well. So it's clearly a thing that's in his mind, and it's clearly a message to the players, and it needs to, for me, it needs to not be a thing. We need to forget about it. Although it is very relevant, we can't keep going back to where we were 10 weeks ago. That's done now. That was the easy bit. The hard bit is now going on and winning this title. We can't keep using this as a reference point. Look where we were 10 weeks ago. Look where we were at the start of the season. We've equaled that out, and it's now irrelevant, because we are now where we are, which is in a title race, and this is the hard bit. And for me, continually referencing where we were is giving these players a bit of an out, which I do not want these players to have that excuse, if you will, or that bit of context around it. Although it is relevant, by the way, but I don't want them having that, because we've seen with Russell Martin, you give some of these players a reason or an excuse, they will cling on to it. I don't want it being celebrated that Rangers have won 10 games out of 12 or whatever it is, because it's not something to celebrate. I want to be celebrating Rangers winning trophies, and that's where we are now. So that's the only thing that I don't want to hear anymore. Yes, it's very impressive that we have clawed this back, and yes, it can be relevant, but there's no point talking about it. And I think that by continually saying it, I don't know, I just think it gets some of the fans' backs up a wee bit, and it's something I would rather not hear. But again, that's just, again, that is my only kind of slight kind of criticism of it. But in terms of calling out the fans, as I say, if you're ever going to call out the fans, you do it in a 5-1 win, because you would never get away with it if we drop points at Ibrox, or if we get through a defeat or a draw.
Kenny, thoughts on that?
Disagree with Chris slightly anyway. I actually think he's right to mention it last night, because I thought the place was really like a morgue at times in the first half. I thought it was really quiet, apart from grumblings. And I think it was a great place to be. I think we're putting pressure on our players. I think when Kilmarnock had some nice passing moves and cut throughs at times, and the groans and the real nervy fear and stuff like that was, I think it's going to affect the players. I think that's part of the reason why Danny Rowe said it, that all he's looking for is to try and get the team to, the support to back the team. That cuts both ways. We know that it does work both ways, where the team have to give us something to back, and we weren't really seeing that in the first half. However, patience is a virtue here, and I think what you've said, Stevie, is kind of really right. That there's an awful lot of people and forget that there's a younger element in the stadium that haven't been through it before. Guys like me and you are barely remembering this. This is for such a long time since we've been in that situation that it's affected everybody. And that's why I think Danny Rowe's trying to just get the point across. And as Chris is right, you're bang on with that. If there's a time to do it, it's when you've won 5-1 and point out that in the last 10, 15 minutes, the crowd was all happy again and singing and dancing. And yeah, but that team, we know where this team is. We know this is not the best Rangers team we've ever seen. The Danny Rowe is making progress, and the signings will hopefully kick us on. But the point I would make is that we were sitting here a few months ago, literally looking at this team thinking, well, don't even know if they'll qualify for Europe. So I think he's entitled to turn around and say, look, I'm giving you something, going to give me something back. And I think that's all he's asking for is, look, I've given you something to cling on to. Now we need that back. And I think that's quite fair. I'm not overly fussed with stuff like that because I just look at it and think if it had been Walter Smith or Graham Souness or Jock Wallace or Stephen Gerrard that said it, I don't think anybody would have bothered too much. He would have probably agreed with the manager and moved on. I think it's just because of the scenario that we're finding ourselves in. We are very edgy as a support. And I'll hark back to what I've said already. I just feel personally it's because we've got ourselves into a position now that it's now a desperation to get this over the line for us. It's the fear and the anger, or the angst, if you like, is coming from a desperation within the stadium. But I do agree with Chris in terms of what he's mentioned there about stop giving this squad of players an out and telling us how far they've came, because Chris was absolutely spot on. We've already seen it this season. If a manager gives this squad too much rope, they'll take it and they'll sit there and they'll hang themselves with it. So don't allow it. Keep them on their toes and tell them that they're nowhere near where they need to be yet. And that's, so I agree with Chris on that for sure.
Well, that was easy, wasn't it? I think we all gave different answers in the same way, meaning the same thing, and everybody in the comments disagreed and agreed, but we all want the same thing. So yeah, that was easy. I knew that was going to be easy. Guys, we are 3 points behind Hearts. We're 3 clear of Celtic, who do have that game in hand. Their game off last night as the pitch was too wet for Aberdeen to lie down in. That gives Rangers real momentum, Chris. All of a sudden, it's okay to be positive. 4 new players in, Chukwani, Olsen, Romans, Nadiri. On eye test, the first couple of games, they've been fine. Some better than others. Romans, as I said, yeah, undoubtedly better than Roberto Carlos. Ryan Nadiri looks like he's going to put in a shift. This is positive. Players out the door. Cortez, Dowell, Curtis, Inciala, Rothwell, Danilo, undoubtedly the best striker in the world and will score 100 on loan at NEC. But 4 in, 6 out, that's really good business for us. And the squad is trimmer. The squad should be hungrier. Those went out. I don't think anyone will be upset about it. Coming in, we've made positive steps here. This is all here for us. As ridiculous as it sounds, we need to get on board with it. It's all here for us. And this team can make themselves a famous Rangers team. The game's coming up, as you pointed out, Motherwell away, and we will talk about the Scottish Cup on tomorrow night's show. But the league for the moment, Motherwell away, Hearts at home within the next 10 days or so. It's all there for Rangers. Rangers could be top of this league, and everybody needs to galvanise behind that. The players deserve wonderful credit, but you made a key statement earlier on. I think it really is. The hard work starts now. The expectation levels rise from everybody. If we can just do this in this next week, then Rangers will be sitting in an unbelievable place. And I think there is an element of, we need to get through this game. We need to get through this game before we really start believing. But it's there, and we should be excited. We're allowed to be. Plenty of times we've come on here and done 6-0 defeats and about 300 draws under Russell Martin and everything. I'm going to enjoy this moment. Rangers are right in it, and I'm excited. If they can't do it now and really take this by the balls, then I worry for us, because it's all there, and we should, let's go and hunt this. Danny Rule was right. Let's go and hunt this. Let's make it ours.
I think that's kind of my overall point and my wee kind of rant just there, which is when we've been hunting down and cutting into the deficit, it was slow and steady landmarks or milestones, if you will. Right, let's get to fourth. Right, let's get to third. Okay, let's cut the gap between third and second. Okay, let's cut the gap now between us and Hearts at first, and it was always just wee kind of slow little milestones without any tangible success at the end, because getting to third isn't anything to celebrate, getting to second isn't anything to celebrate. And now we're in a stage where we win our next 2 league games and we will be top of the league. It's now within our grasp, and it's getting closer and closer to that. And as I say, the easy bit was cutting the gap, and the easy bit was getting into this position. The hard bit now is going to Fir Park, picking up the 3 points, and then following it up with a win at Ibrox against Hearts, who have been top of the league for 6 months now. And the thing is, that's what good Rangers teams do. They win these next 2 games. Now, that's a lot of pressure to put on this Rangers team by saying that, but that's the expectation. Might get away with 4 points. If we get 4 points for the next 2 games, might get away with it, still on the title race and stuff, but the fans aren't going to be happy. That's just the reality. I've been at Rangers, unfortunately. I expect 2 wins. I think everybody expects 2 wins. And if we get the 2 wins, we go top of the league. And then that's when the mentality changes even further, because we're no longer hunting. We will be the hunted. And again, that's been a real test of this group. And it's all these wee milestones, Stevie, that they just need to keep chipping off, because the next milestone is getting to the top of the league. The next milestone after that is maintaining it. And then the next milestone after that is winning it. So these next 3 kind of big milestones coming up are by far the hardest milestones they'll have all season. And we have to achieve it. And the thing is, we've seen as a fan base, just to ever so slightly go back on how we are as a fan base, we've seen it all unravel before. We talk about no seeing title races and stuff. The closest we got was Clement, when Clement obviously he reduced the deficit, he got us in front, and then all of a sudden it just collapsed without warning. That's fresh in our mind, you know what I mean? So it can all unravel very quickly, and we need a Rangers team that we can trust, and we need a Rangers team that's going to get that job done. That's all we're asking for them. So it's very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. And I obviously just seen Cammy saying 1 game at a time. I totally agree, but it now isn't 1 game at a time, because we can actually see the map, if that makes sense. We can see it map out our way to the top, whereas back 10 weeks ago it had to be 1 game at a time, because we couldn't possibly see a way of getting to where we wanted to be. But now we can. We know that if we win our next 2 games, regardless of what happens elsewhere, it's in our hands. If we win our next 2 games, we are top of the league. So that's why it's difficult to continue with the 1 game at a time now, because we can actually see our route to the top now. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. And this is why it's massive. But as a Rangers fan, you wouldn't have it any other way. I remember back under Gio in April, Stevie, towards the end of March, the start of April, I actually had a conversation with you. I don't know if you can remember it, but we had Celtic at home, we had the Scottish Cup semi-final, and we had a European quarter-final and European semi-final. It was like massive games. And as a fan, you don't dread it. You look forward to it and you can't wait. And that's, I've got that. It's not quite as big as European quarterfinals and semi-finals and stuff, but that's how I feel. I'm not dreading these games. I cannot wait. In actual fact, I'll be honest with you, I'm a wee bit disappointed that it's the Scottish Cup weekend, because I'm not disregarding that. It's an important trophy, and we really should be looking to win it. But I just want these next 2 games to come quick and fast, because I'm buzzing for it, and my voice might not say it, or my face might not say it, but genuinely, I'm really buzzing for it. And it's been a long time. Probably the last time I felt like that was under Clement, but the deflation of Motherwell under Clement, it took the wind right out of my sails, and I was dreading the Celtic game after that. Whereas right now, I don't have any of the wind taking on my sails. I'm focused, I'm ready, and I'm absolutely buzzing for the next couple of weeks, and it should be good. And do you know what? I'm confident. I think we will do it. But it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you two guys think. It doesn't matter what the listeners think. It's all up to the players. The players have to go and deliver.
Roadmaps to the top. We can see what we've got. Oh, that got the old plums pumping, Christopher. That was quite the little discussion. Kenny, Rangers are well in this, mate. We've had some really shitty podcasts in 2 years, mate, where it's just been defeat after heavy defeat, when we've had to come on and call out some amount of shit and get criticised for it, and all sorts of games where it was just a nightmare. I'm going to enjoy this wee moment, because it feels like momentum. It feels like things are coming along, and yeah, this is a nice feeling. I'm like Chris. I can't wait for Fir Park next week. I'm not discounting the weekend. Please don't think I'm hungry. I want a double. I want Rangers to go and win that Scottish Cup, because that's our trophy and it belongs with us, and we haven't done it consistently enough. So I want that. That's tomorrow night's show. Tonight, we've just won a league game last night, 5-1. We're well in the hunt now. And I love that saying, let's go and hunt. Let's go and do this. Let's go and grasp this opportunity. Let's just be fucking happy and go and win. Let's have happy pods all the time. You know what I mean? And just like have a laugh and just, you know what I mean? Be mates, just enjoying it. Let's just go and fucking win it. It's right there.
It is right there, mate. And the thing about this, as Chris has mentioned, that we'll be top of the league if we win our next 2 games. I'll go even further, and this is where I am looking at that map that Chris is talking about. If we win our next 4 games, that really is ours to lose. And that's the kind of situation that we've now found ourselves in, that in the space of what is that, just over 3 weeks from now, we will know exactly where we are. And I'm getting a wee bit of goosebumps actually thinking about it, because it is exciting. Because if you had told me in October that this was going to happen, I'd have said you were a maniac and a lunatic, and I'm just talking utter nonsense. And this is where Danny Rule is using this, and I understand it. But again, I'm going to reiterate what I've said there about what Chris has said about stop giving the squad the excuse. Get them geared for this. That every single game from here on in, every single game for a Rangers player should be a cup final anyway, because opposition will always raise their game against you. But from here, we have everything to gain, and they could make themselves legends at this football club, because when you stop and consider the absolute bullshit that we had to endure at the start of this season under Russell Martin, and the level of performance that we have all turned around and said on this podcast was quite possibly the worst looking Rangers team we have ever seen. Now, there's a lot of people talking about this and saying, I've seen better teams in the lower league than this guy's team. That's how bad they looked. Now, this is the point that they have that opportunity to become legends, immortals, all that stuff. You see the stuff with Mikey Moore last night on Rangers TV with Michael Malls, and it's fantastic. And this is the thing about Mikey Moore. You can tell he's loving this. He's loving it here. And you get that impression that a lot of these lads are bonding really, really well. And I think a lot of that's down to the absolute toxicity of the start of this season, but managing to build under Danny Rule. Everything's here for us. And if we can perform and again try to keep our foot in the ground and understand that Kilmarnock were down to 10 men in the second half, the whole game, but in the second half when they tired and we took full advantage of it, that should be a confidence booster that you can turn around and look at our forward line there, which we have criticised all season, lads, and actually say, do you know what? There's talent in there. Go and express yourself. Go and use the talent that you have and score goals off your own bat. Don't pass the buck. Don't wait for anybody else to do it. Go and do it yourself. And if we can do that, next week's game against Motherwell is going to be a belter because they are playing phenomenal football. They are a good team. And I just look at that as any other Rangers team and look at it, and I would always say, no matter how well a team in Scotland's doing, if Rangers go about their business, they'll win the game. And then we've got the opportunity against Hearts. If we can do that, and trust me, those players, if we can get the result against Motherwell next week, those players are in for a hell of a shock against Hearts next weekend, because the atmosphere is going to be insane, and they will hear a backing like they've never heard before, and it is exciting. And yeah, you're saying we've had a couple of years of talking about the shit that we've had to endure. Listen, mate, I had 2 years with Chris before you, and we had even more shit to talk about. So we have had a long time of podcasting, lads, together, that we deserve a bit of optimism and a bit of excitement in our Rangers' lives, if you like. And to be fair to Danny Rule and this team, they've brought us here. They've brought us to this point. So bring it on. Actually, bring every single bit of it on, because it is exciting. And if you had told me that this week would have panned out and fell this way for us, whereas you say, I liked your wee joke about Aberdeen lying down in a puddle of water, mate. I like that. It was really good for me. But
that wasn't mine. I blatantly copied it off you.
They stole it. But the point being that, the fact that I think Aberdeen had a few players out, they've got new players that couldn't play, they don't have a manager. That's going to come their first three midweeks away and towards the middle of March, end of March. So they are going to go and have probably Stuttgart, us, and then Aberdeen away, all in the space of 6 days. That and Hearts dropping point, losing on Tuesday night, it's fallen perfectly for us, and it's ours to take now, and that's what I want to see. Balls out, go for it. That's what I'm saying. I want to see attacking football, which we called out for on Monday night, didn't we, Stevie? We wanted them to go and express themselves and go for it. So you weren't on Monday night. You won't remember that. You were busy, struggling.
Some of us were in Naples. What can I say? People will tune into this and wonder what's happened to the three of us. Chris, thank you very much, mate. That was a good show. Enjoyed that. That's a few. We've been listening to Amrit too much, because that was ultra positive for us, and the smiles and everything. Yeah, love it.
Yes, and contrary to what people might believe about me personally, I actually want nothing more than to be positive about Rangers, but unfortunately, as Kenny says, there's not been a lot to say in the positive front in the last couple of years, which has been tough, really, really tough, and that's why I'm not getting into this running, scared or shitting myself. I'm getting into this running. I'm going to enjoy it, because it's a position that we've not been in a long time, and it's all in our hands now. It's all in our hands, so bring it on, man. I'm not even, I'm not even taking a step back to think about how this could go if we fuck this up, because it's not even worth thinking about, to be honest. It's really not. I'm just focused on what's in front, and I'm focused on winning this, and yeah, I think we can do it. I genuinely think we can do it, and I'm man enough to hold my hands up to say that I didn't think that, certainly this season I'll be discussing that. So just steam on into the next game, take care of business at the weekend, get into the next round, and then the real exciting important stuff. Bring it on.
Kenny, a pleasure, mate. as always. Yeah, we even smiled a couple of times, mate. What is becoming of us? Thanks, mate, as always.
Too baldy smiling, man. It's unusual. But no, I think Chris has just said that there, that, you know, he doesn't even want to think about what if I happen. Listen, the one thing I'd say, see if we don't this season, I am very, very confident that we have a manager in place who is a stone cold killer. He's ruthless. He's tactically astute. He's clearly got an eye for a player, and he's built a side already from the remnants of a toxic chaos, if you like, at the start of the season that you're looking at giving it. I had no idea that you could get a tune out of some of these guys at all. So that's where I'm looking at it. He is building something for the future, and I'm quite confident, by the way, that we can win this. I am. Don't think I'm sitting here thinking, oh, Joe, we might not win it. I actually think we will win this, strangely. And I wish I hadn't said that live on air right enough, but I do feel that we are going to win this, because I actually think at this minute in time we're the best team in the country. And all we've got to do is get Danny Rule to get these players to believe that they're the best team in the country. And I have a funny feeling he is well on the way to doing that, mate. So thanks, lads. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And positivity from us three is unusual, but it's well merited.
Speaking of Danny Rule, obviously everybody knows he is my best friend. Would have heard the press conference last night when, just before I was about to ask, he said, I don't really want to talk about individuals, and I'd really just wanted to say, fucking hell, Danny, how good is Tour Romans? He's going to be the next Davy Robertson, Alpha Newman stroke Roberto Carlos. And
sorry to interrupt you, mate. Very much reminded me of Davy Robertson last night. Very much reminded me of him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't remember what I was going to ask and just sat in silence for 20 seconds while Danny looked at me lovingly and then tried to help me by answering the question as well. And then we spoke about it afterwards. Danny Rule got a wee apology off me as I was tongue-tied, but a great guy. Thoroughly believe in him. The big games just keep coming. We are back tomorrow evening. I think it's myself and Andrew are going to pop on just for a wee half an hour, 45 minute. We're going to talk about the Scottish Cup. We're going to talk about Sunday's game as well. So we're really looking forward to it. And we'll get Andrew's take on everything that's went on as well. I think Andrew will be hosting. So that'll be good fun for all you that join the podcast. We really, really appreciate it. So, yeah, I think last night's press conference just proved that I am mere normal. Sometimes I get excited like a normal fan because that's all I am. And I appreciate all the support of everybody. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is more desperate for Rangers to win this league and be successful than me. Kenny called it. Chris called it. Do you know what? I believe we can do it as well. And I believe in Danny Rule. So let's go and hunt it, Rangers. Let's go and do this. Huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clyview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, our very own Candid, and our Sunday sponsors, Local Dart Shop Online. If you haven't, please like and subscribe on YouTube. We would love it if you could follow us. If you want to become a member of the podcast, I think it's up here. Yay, I did do it right. It is up there. Please join us. And that really helps us grow. We are doing good things. So thank you very, very much. Thank you for everybody Thursday night, and there's thousands of you watching. We really, really appreciate it. Well done, Rangers. Well done, Rangers, indeed. Now we hunt. Now we're in a title race. Now we let everybody know this is Rangers. Let's go and get it done. Good night, folks. See you tomorrow night. Bye for now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clyview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.